Hey guys, thank you for joining me on my channel. I talked to you before about me having my inserts and different kinds of inserts. I've tried a lot of different kinds of inserts for my plantar fasciitis. I talked to you about getting an MRI so that you can figure out what's going on. I suggest the MRI because when I got my x-ray, it did not show everything that was going on with my foot. It showed that I had a bone spur, in which later, much later, when I got my MRI determined I did not have a bone spur. But this was way later. So all this time I thought I was dealing with a bone spur. I got the inserts, and these inserts are expensive. I was blessed with a doctor who felt sorry for me and gave me these. Had my feet fit. I actually work in a hospital. Before that, I was using the Dr. Scholl Get Your Number inserts. I have tried the Good Feet store inserts. I have 2 pair of Good Feet store inserts. I tried all of those things, and once I finally got my MRI and I was able to see exactly what was going on with my foot was when I started to really understand why my plantar fasciitis was so long, going on for such a long period of time. If you have plantar fasciitis and you've been experiencing your foot pain for a very long time, your best bet is to get the MRI. Usually your doctor will be very cooperative with you. Hopefully you have a great doctor. If you don't, maybe it's time to look for another doctor. But my doctors were really good to me. I don't believe that, that they knew the extent of my foot problems. And even for the amount of time that I had the foot issues. Now, I had foot issues since 2014. It was not like all of a sudden I couldn't walk. It was a gradual feeling of, why are my feet being so sensitive? I used to wear sandals all the time, really cute flat sandals. That was just my favorite shoe to wear. I always had pedicures. I always wanted to make sure my feet were beautiful. So doing that, I believe now that the wearing of the flat sandals helped start my issues with plantar fasciitis. I started to feel like I couldn't wear flat sandals. I couldn't wear flat shoes. I couldn't wear boots. And it was getting more and more gradual to where I was having to get a different kind of shoe. The shoes that I wore when I first started getting the very sensitive feeling of not being able to be on my feet that long, I had started with the Dr. Scholl's. The Dr. Scholl's helped, and I was able to get away with wearing the Dr. Scholl's shoes for a long time. I want to say a couple years. And I was only changing my shoes like every 6 months. Then I went to 5 months. And then once I started to get to the 4th month, I said, oh no, maybe I need to look for an insert to put in my Dr. Scholl's shoes. That's when I ended up with the Dr. Scholl's Get Your Number. And that was my number. I wore that insert for a long time as well, maybe a couple years. Now, same thing as with the shoe. At first, I was wearing them for a few months, and then it was going down to like 4 months, and then down to 3 months, and then down to a couple of months where I was changing them out very often. So once the insert didn't work anymore, or when I was feeling like, wait a minute, I just bought this insert, it was $55. I didn't want to keep paying $55 every couple of months. So that's when I got into my shoe journey. I started looking for better shoes rather than just wearing Dr. Scholl's. If you have foot pain and you've had long-term foot pain, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. You start looking for the shoe that's thicker, that you won't have to replace every, few months, every couple months. Like I was doing, I tried the Skechers arch support. I tried all these different kinds of shoes. I ultimately got the Hoka, and the Hoka shoe is an excellent shoe. But the same thing happened with that. I was wearing the Hoka 6 months, and then 4 months, and then 3 months, and then 2 months. And I tried the insert. Every shoe that I have gotten, I have tried to do the Good Feet store insert. I'm always trying to revert back to wearing the insert because I'm always told like, hey, you have to have some type of arch support. With the fibroma is the growth that's growing on the arch of my foot. So with that fibroma being right here, if I wear the insert, I can really feel that fibroma. It feels like I have literally put a marble right where the arch is. And my foot, the marble, and then this hard arch was killing me. So it just got to the point and has still continued to be where I cannot wear the hard insert because of that fibroma and how it's growing on the right foot. Now I have issues going on with the left foot, which are the same symptoms that I started with the right foot. So this is why I always say to do yourself a favor before you keep trying different shoes, before you keep switching inserts and just settling, like really put your feet as priority to fix the issue rather than to let it go on long term. Some of us have been suffering from plantar fasciitis and other things for a very long time. So if you're one of those people that you've been suffering for a long time, I highly suggest doing your homework, getting a good podiatrist, asking for not just an x-ray, but an MRI to help you figure out what's going on with your feet. The other thing that I would like to suggest is when you go to your podiatrist will say, do you want to try physical therapy? There's a lot to physical therapy. Now, when I went to physical therapy, my copay was $20. I went twice a week and then once a week. And then I started looking at videos on YouTube. Thank God for YouTube. Started looking at videos on YouTube about my specific issue with my foot. A lot of things pointed back to the strength in my feet, which made a lot of sense. So for those of you who are dealing with plantar fasciitis, what I want you to do is really pay attention to the strength in your feet. I can tell you that when I would be at work, once my right foot started to get tired, and you do feel this, once my right foot started to get tired and I could feel that the soreness was going to set in and ready to set in, I started to lean my weight onto the left foot. I think that's why now I'm having the symptoms in my left foot, because my left foot has been having to hold the weight of my entire body. So that's why I say that pay attention to how you're standing, how you're walking, what you're doing. Like really pay attention, because these things you don't really associate with feet strength, or that it could have something to do with other parts of your leg and even your hip. You don't associate those things all together. You only understand that you have pain in your foot and you want to get that foot pain taken care of right now. And you could even become agitated or aggressive because you're in so much pain. You don't really want to talk to anybody. You don't want to deal with anybody, because every time you talk to people and they say like, hey, what's wrong with you? It's embarrassing to say my feet hurt. It really is. Or they say, are you okay? And you say, no, my freaking feet hurt. And in your mind, you're really saying that, but you say, yeah, I'm okay. Are you sure? Because you got some stuff on your mind. Yeah, I'm thinking about some stuff, but I'm okay, I'm good. So we always just say, I'm good, instead of saying that embarrassing little thing like, my feet hurt, my feet are killing me right now, I can't stand being here. If any of those things are ringing bells to you, you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? So paying attention to your strength in your feet. I started looking up these physical therapy videos on YouTube. The same videos that I was looking at were the exact same exercises that I was paying for to go to physical therapy at a time that I could not afford to pay for these this thing. Paying $20 copay, $30 copay, having different insurances. When I had one company and switched into another company, then I had a different insurance. So, even if you get a different insurance, you're still going to have a copay. So I went from $30 payments to $20 payments. $20 is still a lot, especially during a time that we are in inflation. Okay. The 2 times a week visiting a physical therapist just was not happening. So when I started paying attention to what I was actually doing, and these are 30-minute visits, okay? It was not an hour session, it was 30 minutes. So paying $20 twice a week, $40 a week for 1 hour session of physical therapy that I was looking at on YouTube for free, and really being able to dedicate real time to this physical therapy. So if you're in that situation where you're having to make a decision that, can I afford physical therapy? That it's not medical advice. I'm not telling you to ditch your doctor. I'm not telling you to ditch your physical therapy. But if you're in a situation that you absolutely cannot afford physical therapy, or you have other priorities of what you need to do with that money per week, $40 is a half a tank of gas, or even a quarter of a tank right now. So if you're having to make a decision of where your money is going and having to be very diligent about your expenses and taking care of your budget, YouTube is a great place to have your physical therapy. The other thing is that once you start paying attention to your strength in your feet, do your YouTube homework for physical therapy. And if you're paying attention to the videos, you'll be able to see and understand when they're explaining. They will ask you questions like, is your balance off? Are you swaying off to the side while you're walking? And you don't even realize that could have something to do with your feet issues, foot or feet issues. That could have something to do with it. If you're swaying off to the side, if you're leaning to one side of your body rather than placing your entire weight on both feet and in balance, you're not doing yourself any favors. The other things that I was doing was when I would squat, I didn't want to squat and put my weight on my right foot. So I was literally squatting. In my line of work, I clean OR rooms and set them up for the surgeons and the nurses for the next patient. So you're squatting, bending, cleaning under, moving things. When I would be squatting to clean under tables, I had placed the majority of my weight onto my left foot so that I did not have to have it on my right foot. And even when I would stand up, I was using my left leg to fully pick me up and not put weight on the right leg. I was not doing myself any favors doing this. Neither are you. Pay attention to if you're doing this, okay? They ask you questions like, can you lean against something, like have a chair in front of you? And you can tell about your balance, because if you lean a chair in front of you or have a chair sitting in front of you, you're just holding on to the chair and stand on one leg and then test your balance on the other leg. Of course, having the chair in front of you, in case you do lose your balance, you don't want to try this if you know you have issues. You don't want to try it without having something in front of you. You could even lean against a cabinet, the dresser, whatever you have close by you that you can just touch in case you lose your balance. So I started paying attention to these videos and I started to realize that, oh my gosh, I sway when I walk. I could not put all of my weight on my right leg and foot. I could not squat and pick myself up at all with my right leg and foot. I even felt throughout the day a tightness in my calf that I later, once it started getting tight enough, started to associate, like, can that have anything to do with my foot? It has everything to do with your foot. So pay attention to these things, you guys. YouTube has a lot of great information. I wish that I had seen other people who had experience with plantar fasciitis, and instead of just saying the exercises, like, would really get in depth to saying, pay attention to this, pay attention to that, because then it would really make me understand what I was going through. You know, some of us are not that, quick to pick up. I'm that person that's like, that doesn't make sense to me until it absolutely, and then boom, it makes sense. I'm that person. I need you to explain it to me. Tell me what's happening. So that's why I'm explaining this to you guys. I'm hoping that I can shed some light and help you and educate you on some things that you probably didn't know or maybe wondering about, but haven't really had a chance to talk with anybody who's experiencing the same thing as you. That's why I'm here to tell you about these things. If you like the information that I'm sharing with you, please click that like button, hit the subscribe button. I really want to explain so much more to you guys. It seems like I just ramble on, but really it makes a lot of sense once you start making everything, like I said, click together as to what was going on. So pay attention to the strength in your legs. Pay attention to the strength in your feet. The physical therapy videos that you can watch will walk you through every single exercise, and some of those videos will explain exactly what the exercise is for, and that's what I needed. When I was going to physical therapy, I was not explained, you're doing this exercise because, then it would have made sense. These videos that I was watching, educational videos on physical therapy, plantar fasciitis, calf tightening, or tight calves, tight hamstrings, hip weakness, all these things are related and can and will affect each other. So that's why I'm telling you to pay attention to the strength in your leg, the entire leg, including your hip. Watch these physical therapy videos if you cannot afford to go to your physical therapist and spend that co-payment. Okay, there's other resources available to you, and I'm just trying to make it easier for you to understand the in the entirety of your foot problems. Okay, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, till next time. Bye, guys.